Well, it's a pretty nice day out there. A little bit lower humidity, temps in the lower to middle 80s with just some puffy cumulus bubbling up here and there. But big storms are blowing up here in Nebraska over parts of Iowa. We've got all these tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings. And there are some tornado watches out here as well. This is going to be ground zero for some strong, violent tornadoes this evening and hail up to grapefruit size here in eastern Nebraska and parts of Iowa. These supercells will gel into a derecho, a Boeing line of severe storms in Iowa later this evening, dive into north central Illinois during the overnight hours, and then by tomorrow morning, we'll likely have a line of storms on our back door that will be in a weakening mode, but will pass through our area between about 5 and 8 a.m. And I do think there will be a couple of corridors of potentially some damaging straight line winds. We're going to talk more about that here in just a couple minutes. But in the meantime, temperatures running, again, low to mid 80s area-wide, 86 for the warm spot at Crawfordsville, and after a high of 85 here at LFI, we're at 84 now, 84 at Monticello, and 83 at Rochester. And it's going to be an increasingly muggy night tonight. The humidity will surge, overnight lows only running in the upper 60s to right around 70 degrees. Now there is 8 o'clock tonight. Here's the WLFI viewing area. There's the cluster of storms, of tornadoes, and very large hail here in eastern Nebraska moving into Iowa. Notice as we get towards the early morning hours tomorrow, though, that complex of severe storms will gel into a line. We'll likely see some damaging straight line winds, widespread damaging straight line winds in Iowa. Moving into north central Illinois, and between about 5 and 8 a.m., I think this will pass as a line of storms in a weakening mode. However, even with it weakening, we can still get some pretty strong winds surging out of this line of storms, well out ahead of the main rain. I wouldn't be surprised if there are a couple little corridors here of 50 to 70 mile per hour gusts as it does move through. Not everybody's going to get that, but there could be a couple corridors of decent wind here that may produce some localized wind damage. And then a break. The sun comes out tomorrow afternoon. Very humid, highs warm, middle to upper 80s. And then tomorrow evening on the tail end of this line of storms, we'll likely see redevelopment here in central Illinois. Maybe some clusters of severe storms, and these will begin to pass through our area. Notice tomorrow evening and early tomorrow night, that could be a hail, possibly an isolated tornado threat as these continue to move off to the east. And then a little break tomorrow night before more storms arrive our way, believe it or not, as we get into Thursday. So very active weather pattern on the way, and with all these rounds of storms on the way, the rain is going to add up. This is projected rainfall through Saturday. Notice the entire area pretty much looking at a good 2 to 3 inches, but in areas that get considerable thunderstorms, wouldn't be surprised if a few of you get over 3 inches of rain by Saturday. So we're going to have to talk about a flash flood threat here, and because of that, the National Weather Service out of Chicago has already put out a flash flood watch for Jasper, Newton, Jasper, and Benton counties. Again, this is through late week. As you can see, some of that heavier rainfall, and the pattern is going to continue to be active the first couple weeks of June. Numerous rounds of heavy to strong, even severe thunderstorms, and again, a couple pretty big outbreaks of severe weather in parts of the Midwest, either here in our area or nearby during the first 2 weeks of June. So tonight, though, clouding up, thunderstorms late as that line of storms dives in out of Illinois by early tomorrow morning, most likely between 5 and 8 a.m. 68 for the low, 87 tomorrow afternoon. After morning storms, we'll get a break. Then the potential of some storms during the evening and early overnight hours, and then several rounds of storms Thursday, Friday, into Saturday, even Sunday, with highs continuing in the 80s. So not only will we have a few rounds of severe weather, but also a flash flooding threat here during these first 2 weeks of June.
Be prepared for it to be hot and muggy all week long.
Yes, you've got it.
All right. Thanks, Chad.